Met police officer has had his jail sentence increased. Now, this is the case of Cliff Mitchell, who was a working police officer for the Metropolitan Police, who was jailed this year for life with a minimum of 13 years. Now, before I get into it, if you are enjoying the channel, hit that like button before the video starts. Get the algorithm up, because a lot of people aren't liking it and commenting, and more people needs to be aware of this channel and the topics that I'm covering. So Cliff Mitchell was jailed for multiple counts of hairy ape. Now, if you're new to the channel, I am using prison slang, which is hairy ape equals, and as you can imagine, what the term means. Now, this is used in prison for nonces, bacons, and the ones who are watching in America, they call them chomos. But Mitchell of Wandsworth, southwest London, was a PC in the Met when several of these offences took place. So in 2017, before he even became a police officer, some allegations had come to light over a hairy that he had done on a kid under the age of 13. Now, these allegations, although he was arrested, he actually got no further action, which is NFA, on these charges. Then he went into the police force, and obviously he was using the police force as a way of manipulation for his victims so he could carry out these type of offences. Now, his latest victim, he was going to her house, plying her with drink and doing despicable acts upon her when she was intoxicated. And he was actually saying to her that no one will believe her because of the position that he is in. He was calling her degrading names, making her feel worthless, and this was going on over a matter or over a number of months. So he was actually finally caught after one night on the 5th of September 2023. He actually went to the address of one of his victims. He went into her property and violently SA'd her. And then he went on to tie her hands and legs and gagged her, dragged her out of the house and forced her into his car. As he was driving away, luckily for her, she managed to escape, because who knows what would have happened. It could have been another Wayne Couzens, another type of incident, because who knows where or what he was planning on doing with his poor defenceless victim. So as she managed to escape out of the car, another motorist had actually seen what was going on and helped the poor lass, got her in the car and took her to some police who were proper police and not the predatory type like Mitchell. Obviously, when the police found out about this, it was traced back to him, because the victim then had the courage to speak up, because this had actually been going on over a prolonged period, and it was over years, not months. I said earlier on it was over a matter of months, but it was over a number of years that he was using his position to do these wicked deeds to this poor, defenceless girl. And he was calling her the worst of the worst. I can't say on here for YouTube flagging up these type of words, but you can imagine how he was treating this poor lass, calling her worthless, doing hairies on her all the time, making her worthless, saying no one would believe her. But obviously, luckily for her, when he had kidnapped her into his car, she managed to escape. And when the police came, found out it was him, he was arrested. Obviously, he was suspended from the force in late 2023. Until things were going to trial, because obviously the monster what he is was denying it. But then when they looked into it, they seen that he had been arrested for the case in 2017. Then they went back to that victim. She came forward, and obviously the two victims stood up in court against this wicked monster, and he was convicted for the offences that he committed. And for them, he was sentenced to life with a minimum of 13 years and 225 days. It might as well have just been 14, but for whatever reason, they rounded it up to that number. But him probably feeling like a victim went and put an appeal in against his sentence, because everybody who gets sentenced to prison has the option of appealing against their sentence. So he went and appealed against his sentence, and the reasons behind that was he said that they didn't use his previous good character in the trial. Now, why on earth would the jury or anybody, when he was getting sentenced, the judge listen to his previous good character when, because he was a serving police officer when he done this, his previous good character does not come into this at all. When he's committing these type of offences as a police officer, when he's supposed to be someone who is protecting the victims, not being the perpetrator, the predator. So when you put your appeal in for the appeal courts to have a sentence reduced, you are running the risk that your sentence may also be increased. But him, obviously with a victim mentality, thinking he's been hard done by, getting a life sentence, he's putting an appeal in against his sentence. But the victim's counsel has then also put an appeal in saying the sentence was unduly lenient. So you've got two appeals going in, one for the victim and one for the predator. And obviously when the appeal court judges have looked through it, they've actually knocked him back on his appeal against the sentence, and they've sided with the victim's counsel and decided that it was unduly lenient. So June of this year, 2024, his sentence was increased to 17 years, life with a minimum of 17 years. So that is what he has to serve before he is eligible for parole. And because it's a life sentence, he will be in the high security estate and he will be on the VP wings. Now, when one of my subscribers asked us to cover this case, because I have covered cases about police officers in prison, they asked us in the comments, had I heard of this case? And I hadn't even heard of it. Obviously, the likes of Wayne Couzens and David Carrick are high-profile cases, but for some reason, this case hasn't really been highlighted, and I thought I would cover it on my channel. But what I will also state as well, because obviously making these videos, a lot of people will be thinking that I'm just griefing the coppers because these are police officers that have committed these offences. But what I will state is, imagine the police officers who are doing a good job, the ones who are protecting the public. You've got to feel sorry for these officers, the ones that have got to take on these type of cases, especially the ones that have got to look through the material, the ones that have been videoed, the ones where these dirty, horrible bacons have been caught for things online, and they're uploading videos of hairy apes against minors, and they have got to sit through the footage to gather evidence on the predators who are doing these type of offences. So you've got to think about these poor officers and what they've actually seen and witnessed. So I'm not just coming on grief and coppers, obviously them ones, the decent ones that are doing a duty to the public, because without them, these victims wouldn't be getting justice. So I'm only griefing the ones on here that have committed these type of offences, that need branded, that need or the public needs to be aware of. And the ones getting sentences like this, these sentences are what they should be getting. Because I've done a lot of videos recently about Bacons getting small sentences. The majority of them, the ones that are doing online or watching stuff online, are getting suspended sentences. Even the ones that are actually committing offences against people are getting suspended sentences when they go to court, which is absolutely outrageous. And that's why I'm being a voice for those victims and mentioning it on this channel, because people are appreciating me doing these type of videos, because I have spoke firsthand to a lot of people that have been victims of this type of offence, and they're saying thanks for highlighting it and letting people know what is actually going on. So I will be covering a lot of these videos, and like I mentioned, this particular police or ex-police officer, Cliff Mitchell, will be living in misery in a high security prison, feeling sorry for himself. Why me? But why you? Because you've done these despicable deeds to young people that didn't, well, no one deserves that, but you get what I'm trying to say. I'm just letting people know what this absolute monster of a man done. But hopefully you are enjoying it, people. And if you are, remember to hit that subscribe button and let us know your feedback in the comment section. Take care, everyone, and enjoy the rest of your day.